How do you find all the press circuit and everything, and all the walking the lines?
I hate it. Sorry, don't like it. But it doesn't never mind. Just repeating myself, but I like meeting everyone, so it's all right.
And this is how comfortable you feel. You've taken your shoes off. I love
that. It's not, I mean, I'm a bit tipsy. I wouldn't have fallen up. Well, no, I fell over when I walked into the place. It's nice to get an award. It feels a bit more, not normal. No, it doesn't feel normal. It feels kind of all right to get it. But before, I was like, oh, God, I haven't done anything. But, no, it's lovely.
It's phenomenal, you know, the success of this album and where it's gone and where it's taken me is just amazing. It seems to have done it all on its own as well, you know. I haven't done that much, and then I was halted by my voice problems, but the record just carried on walking without me.
What sets her apart from other worldwide songwriting sensations is that there is no gimmick, there is no hype, there is nothing about her that anyone could get tired of or want to move on, because what she's offering is talent, it's great songwriting.
To be back with my new album and to be nominated and to win, I mean, it's, you know, very British, so dream come true.
Her music kind of transcends. It's not really tied to any sort of era. She's not piggybacking on any sort of trend or any sort of way of writing lyrics.
Adele has 3 studio albums out. She's already cemented her place as a musical force in the record industry and is becoming something of a cultural force for her generation.
But I'm incredibly humbled, especially being from the UK. You know, it is an amazing feat to have achieved. So I am incredibly humbled by it.
The UK press began dubbing Adele the next Amy Winehouse in late 2007. Influenced by Roberta Flack and Suzanne Vega as much as Jill Scott, Adele soon became a phenomenon in her own right.
Soul singer, but I like singing anything from pop to R&B to folk to jazz to indie, so the album's really eclectic and it's got all them different sides of me, so yeah, but I'm a soul singer and all my songs are about heartbroken love, because I don't like writing songs when I'm happy. I'd rather be out being happy. So yeah, when I'm at home feeling sorry for myself, it's when I write my songs. So get ready to cry if you want to hear it.
I met Adele in 2010, before kind of everything took off for her. And at the time, I sort of knew who she was. I'd heard her album, but she certainly wasn't a household name by any means. I met her before we both were on a live talk show in the UK. And we chatted a bit backstage. She seemed nervous. She's obviously very shy, very friendly. She was giving out her number to people, oh, call me, you know, like a normal person would do. But what struck me the most is it's a very soft-spoken, quietly confident young woman, not flashy. She has a cackling laugh, which she, you know, will bust out in, very, very sweet, but not a showman, not oozing X Factor, oozing charisma. I think her talent is there. It's just raw. It is what it is. But she's not a flashy pop star who automatically, you know, kind of lights up the room the way perhaps Justin Timberlake or Beyonce might do. What she has is unique.
Adele was born to a single, very young teenage mother. She was born in Tottenham in 1988.
A lot of Adele's confidence comes from her childhood. She had a mom who was always encouraging her to perform, always telling her she could do anything, she could be anything. And I think she instilled in her daughter a tremendous amount of confidence and a sense of self-worth that shows through even now.
Adele's music is relatable, I suppose, really. That's the thing that lots of people love about her, and her amazing voice, of course. But she writes about relationships mainly. 19 and 21 have pretty much been all about bad relationships, things that have gone wrong. And that kind of stuff is relatable with everyone. Everyone's been through a dodgy relationship.
It's somewhat ironic or bizarre, actually, that Adele would cite the Spice Girls as being the reason that she is where she is today. Could not be more different in terms of sound, recording style, or songs. And yet they were a major influence on her. I think seeing these British women who had become international superstars and this kind of fearless girl power that they embodied became very influential to Adele. And she speaks now about the fact that they really had a big impact on her.
Adele, from a very young age, has had a real fascination with song and voices as well. She says that she really paid attention to how people would speak and the tone would change in their language from being angry to being happy, and that's obviously translated into her love of music too. She said Gabrielle was one of her first most influential artists, and she tells a funny story about how she loved her so much that she asked her mum to make a sequined eye patch for her, and she actually wore it to school.
After moving to South London, she became interested in R&B artists such as Aaliyah, Destiny's Child and Mary J. Blige. In 2002, aged 14, Adele discovered Etta James and Ella Fitzgerald when she stumbled on the artist's CDs in the jazz section of her local music store.
And she only picked it up because she liked her hair on the album and was going to give it to her hairdresser to say, give me this hairstyle. Anyway, she took it home, listened to it, and at that moment her life was transformed. When she heard Etta singing, when she heard the music, she thought for the first time, this is who I want to be.
She recalled how she started listening to Etta James every night for 1 hour and, in the process, began to understand and know her own voice.
The first time she heard Etta James, that's when it was like, okay, I know what I want to do with my life. It's singing.
Adele graduated from the Brit School in 2006, where she was a classmate of Leona Lewis and Jessie J.
At the Brit School, Adele was initially looking at getting into the development side of recording as opposed to being a performer herself, despite her incredible talent. As part of a class project, however, she recorded 3 songs, which a friend of hers then put on MySpace. And after, word kind of spread around the internet, she ended up getting a call from a record producer with XL Recordings, who then told her they were interested in making an album with her.
In June 2007, Adele made her television debut performing Daydreamer on the BBC's Later with Jools Holland. And not long after, she released her breakthrough single, Hometown Glory.
I always got a kick out of Hometown Glory by Adele. She's one of those artists that she can sing almost anything and you accept it because she's got such believability in her voice. There's such an honesty in her voice, you just accept it. And when I saw the video, I had to smile because I look at the video, and for those of us that are familiar with South London and the Norwood area, where she's from, the video looks to me very Springsteen. Those look like American houses to me. They look like American phone poles to me. It's kind of curious that she's singing this wonderful song, Hometown Glory, which in itself kind of sounds like a Springsteen title, but and there's sort of an Americana feel to the video. Yes, she's on a soundstage and they're fake backdrops, but it made me smile.
I like it in the city when 2 worlds collide. You get the people and the government, everybody taking different sides.
The other thing I like about Hometown Glory is she's putting her whole young heart and soul into it. And the reason I say young is because she's still a teenager. She's a kid, and she's coming out with these great pronouncements. And it's the wonderful thing about youth that she has in so much of her early material. When you're young, what happens to you is incredibly important, and you want the whole world to know about it. And you don't seem to realize that a lot of other people have gone through these same things that you've gone through. Hometown Glory is allegedly based on a chat she had with her mother when her mother was encouraging her to think about university and leaving the nest and leaving the home. And Adele, for the first time, started to reflect on, oh my God, I'm growing up, adulthood. I won't be in this house anymore. I'll be living my own life. Mom will be on her own. And it's a wonderful song, and the video brings it on back home. But I suspect that's not actually a series of photographs of her hometown.
Round my hometown, memories of phrase. Round my hometown, ooh, the people I've made.
Adele was the first person to win the Critics' Choice Award by the Brits in 2008. It was a lot of pressure on her, really, and I think she talks about that. It's almost, she had to go on stage. I remember being there watching her, and nobody knew who she was. You were told this person was going to be the #1 breakthrough act and she was going to be a star. And I think for somebody like Adele, she wanted to prove her worth and wanted people to genuinely hear her music and buy into it that way, rather than being told that you're the critics' favourite.
What's it like to get that one? Because that's a special one, isn't it? Critics' Choice.
It's amazing. It's really flattering. It's really weird getting an award so early on, though. Like, you know, I mean, luckily, when I found out, nothing. First single weren't out, my album weren't out, but luckily now my album's out and it's done well, so it's nice to get an award. It feels a bit more, not normal. That doesn't feel normal. It feels kind of all right to get it. But before I was like, oh God, I haven't done anything. But no, it's lovely.
Chasing Pavement was really where she started coming into her own and being able to express the heartbreak and the emotions that happened to her as a 19-year-old that really, I believe, made 19 the hit that it was.
I've heard different versions of what the song's actually about. Obviously, if you listen to the lyrics, you can make up your own mind. It's about a relationship, obviously. My favourite story that I've heard, though, is Adele found out that her boyfriend was cheating on her. So she marched down to the pub, punched him one, in true Adele style, and then decided to walk home. And as she was walking home, she was just thinking, what am I doing? I'm just chasing pavements. She recorded some lyrics into her mobile phone, came up with 3 chords, and that was the song, Chasing Pavements. And what a success it was.
But Chasing Pavements really sells you on the whole idea of the song and what's happened to the singer, and her story becomes your story. And that's the trick of any movie making. You have to get involved with the characters or you don't care about the plot. And she's now got you involved via the song's lyrics and the imagery in this video with what's going on in her life. So in a way, we are the fish in the sea, she is the fisherman, and she's now hooked us.
In March 2008, Adele signed a deal with Columbia Records and XL Recordings for her foray into the United States. She embarked on a short North American tour that same month. Not soon after it started, Adele cancelled the 2008 US tour to be with a former boyfriend.
At that time, she was madly in love with a boy who she has said was a destructive relationship which was based a lot on their love of alcohol. Her life was somewhat out of control and she couldn't bear to be without him. So she decided to cancel her tour, her big break, in order to spend more time with him. This is something that no young artist ever does or should do.
Adele obviously had some luck on her side because after cancelling that American tour, she got a spot on one of the biggest shows on American TV, Saturday Night Live. And it just so happened as well that that same night, US Vice President candidate Sarah Palin was going to be on the show as well. It turned out that that show had something like 17 million viewers. What a platform to launch your career from. The next day, after singing Chasing Pavements and Cold Shoulder on the show, her album 19 topped the iTunes chart and Adele was a worldwide star.
At that point in time, you could make an argument that Sarah Palin was the biggest celebrity in the United States. It was the one that everyone was going to watch because, you know, maybe you get like a huge movie star, maybe you get Tom Hanks on the show, maybe you get Johnny Depp, whatever. You see them as they are, they're actors. But Sarah Palin was a vice presidential candidate, a controversial vice presidential candidate, and a female with no acting experience whatsoever. On Monday, people were like, oh, did you see the episode of Sarah Palin with Tina Fey and her at the same time? It was crazy. Oh, and you know, the person, you know, the singer Adele, she was on as a musical guest, and you know, it was really crazy. It was great.
How do you feel about the album going to #1 on the download chart in America?
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah, that was really, really amazing. Like, it was overnight. Like, the record came out in June, like, in America. And it did, I thought it did good. It didn't make as much of an impact there as it had here when it came out. So I was just kind of willing for it to be an underground thing. And I never expected to do well in America anyway until like my 3rd or 4th record. And so, you know, we weren't spending as much time as we were going to if it had done well. But I was back there and did a show in New York, and then the producer from Saturday Night Live came down and really liked it and offered me the show. And then I did it, and it ended up... It was just meant to be like a normal show, just like me and Josh Brolin, and I was the musical guest, and he was hosting it. And then we walked in on Saturday, and Sarah Palin was there. We were like, oh, my God, what? And then it ended up being a huge show, and literally overnight. Like, whenever I've heard that saying, like, overnight success, I was like, yeah, whatever, you've got to proper work for it. And it was overnight, literally overnight, so, yeah, I was chuffed with that.
Adele's music is a bit difficult to describe because it doesn't fit neatly into any box. It is called oftentimes blue-eyed soul. Adele herself has described it as heartbroken soul. There certainly is a lot of pathos and angst underneath this music, mostly I suspect in part because most of the time she writes is when she's upset about something. She's had her heart broken, and I think she really puts that into her songs. You know, initially Adele, she was a young teenager, but she found it very difficult to write music until she had her first big heartbreak by a boyfriend who cheated on her, absolutely left her devastated. And then all of a sudden she found she had the inspiration to write almost all of her first album, 19. I think she wrote something like 10 songs in 5 weeks. It just came out of her like incredibly because at that time, you know, she had had her first big heartbreak, and that was the inspiration for the songs. The songs are not happy songs on that album, but they are moving, they are emotional and visceral, and I think they inspire reactions amongst all of us who have had our heart broken.
At the 51st Annual Grammy Awards in February 2009, Adele received the award for Best New Artist and the award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance for Chasing Pavements, which was also nominated for Record of the Year and Song of the Year.
Adele was left shell-shocked because she got 4 Grammy nominations. She was sat there with her mum when she found out, and they were just screaming. It completely overwhelmed her, really took her by surprise. To her, it was out of the blue. And then she won 2 of those Grammys, and obviously, in typical Adele fashion, she came out and went, well, I didn't really want a Grammy, which obviously played out completely wrong, because when you read something like that in the press, it sounds like she's really ungrateful. And her record company obviously made her do another interview so that she explained what she meant. And she said that what she meant, which actually rings very true, by giving an artist so young such a big accolade, it's almost could be damaging to their performances and be a bit of a bad luck curse. So it's like winning an Oscar before you've actually delivered that Oscar-winning performance.
To Make You Feel My Love is one of the most beautiful ballads ever in the very capable hands of Adele. Now, I didn't even know the Bob Dylan version. I'd never heard the song until she sang it, but it's one of the most powerful and moving songs I think that I've ever heard.
Adele being Adele, she said, actually, you know what? I've saved Bob Dylan's career here. I've made it for him. He's going to get £1 million check at the end of this year. I've done him a favour. And in all fairness, I would say she probably has. It was a beautiful cover. Her voice was amazing on it. Far outweighed the original, in my view.
I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. I go to the ends of this earth for you, to make you feel my...
Adele manages to give it such a soulful and wistful quality. There's a desperation to the way she sings sometimes, you know, where she's pleading with the listener to love her or to receive her, to accept her. And that really comes through in her music, and particularly in this song.
Adele released her second album, 21, in early 2011. She stated the album was inspired by the breakup with her former partner. Praised by critics for its understated production, vintage aesthetic, and vocal performance, 21 defied the modest commercial expectations of her indie record label, Excel Recordings.
Adele is now becoming an adult, and the songs reflect adulthood. Early on, she has that sort of teen angst of everything that happens to me is important and the world ought to know about it. When you get to songs like Turning Tables or Rolling in the Deep, they have the pain of a young person being spurned by a guy, or why isn't my relationship going well? They have that pain that we all feel throughout life, regardless of our age. But she's starting to shed some of the immaturity that comes with it. She's starting to get more introspective.
I mean, imagine that someone who was singing Chasing Pavements is all of a sudden singing Rolling in the Deep, 2 songs that have absolutely nothing in common but the voice. But you know, Adele was very much influenced by the American South. She was touring around the South promoting the album 19, and her bus driver on the bus was playing a lot of contemporary Nashville bluegrass music. She was listening to this music, and that definitely influenced the sound of her follow-up album.
21 topped the charts in more than 30 countries and became the world's best-selling album of the year for 2011 and 2012. In the UK, it stands as the best-selling album of the 21st century and the 4th best-selling album of all time. Its 23-week tenure atop the UK albums chart is the longest by a female solo artist. In the United States, the album held the top position for 24 weeks, longer than any other album since 1985, and the longest by a female solo artist in Billboard history.
Rolling in the Deep is probably my favourite song of all time. I think when you hear it, when you first heard it, you just knew it was going to be a classic. It's almost like the sort of song you can't imagine not being in your life. And it's just incredible. I don't think you'd ever tire of hearing it.
I gotta say, Rolling in the Deep, you know, the first time you hear that song, you just kind of know that, yes, you're gonna be hearing this one a lot.
I think what is common amongst all Adele songs is there's an emotional component, there's an emotional depth, and there's also this incredible timbre of voice that she manages to make sound gritty and yet angelic at the same time.
I'm a control freak, and I get really anal about things. Actually, 21, there's a whole other version of 21, which I have spoken about before. Nothing ever beats a demo for any artist, in my opinion. Whenever I've heard the originals of their songs, there's a passion and an urgency in demos which can never seem to be reenacted, especially in my case. But yeah, no, I'm very, I sit there like a backseat driver. I don't know how to work a computer. I can't even work anything you're on. I mean, some of them are Adele's and some of them are Apple's. I do have an Apple. It hasn't been on for about a year. But I sit behind being like, what's that bit? What's that bit? Let's do this bit. Let's make, and then I, reference other records and sounds that I've heard from the past or current hits. I like to think of myself as very involved. I definitely wrote a lot less of this record than I did of 21. But that was because I had a bad drinking habit on 21, so I couldn't quite get the inspiration this time around.
I feel that Someone Like You may well be the Adele song, may well be her signature song.
Because it's so deeply personal to her. However, anyone listening to it can really relate to it because it's about losing someone in your life and never being able to get over them. So the haunting quality of it is partly to do with her voice, it's partly to do with the lyrics themselves. I think when you listen to it, you lose yourself in it and you feel quite connected to her and to that song.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I think I remember you say sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead.
When Adele performed Someone Like You at the Brit Awards, I think it was like a bomb had dropped. You could have heard a pin drop in the room, and this is a room full of professionals and other famous singers. They were completely blown away by the song and by her performance. It made such a sensation that even the next day on breakfast television, presenters and hosts were still talking about it, playing clips from it, because it had just created such a sensation.
Well, mine is very stripped back. Everyone else is like pretty epic. I'm on the end of the main stage, and I'm just doing Someone Like You, which I did on Jules Holland. David Joseph, who's like chairman of the Brits, saw it and wanted me to do it, which is quite cool to do because normally I've got to try and channel myself to sing like Rolling in the Deep and stuff, whereas this one I'm just like crying halfway through every time I sing it. Doesn't matter what kind of mood I'm in, so I'll be able to connect with it. But yeah, it's just very black and white. Won't be any surprises. There's maybe a little bit of glitter at the end comes down, but that's about as like funky as it gets.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I'll remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it sometimes it hurts instead. Yeah, yeah.
Adele embarked upon a tour to promote the album, which sold out on its North American leg. In October 2011, however, Adele was forced to cancel 2 tours because of a vocal cord hemorrhage. She released a statement saying she needed an extended rest period to avoid permanent damage to her voice. Adele underwent laser microsurgery in Boston, USA. Following her surgery, she made her live comeback at the 2012 Grammy Awards. Adele won all 6 categories in which she was nominated. This made her the second female artist in Grammy history to win that many categories in one night. Following her success at the Grammys, Adele received the Brit Award for Best British Female Solo Artist and the British Album of the Year.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adele!
Hello, hi.
Wow. Wow! Okay, you won 6 Grammys, but now you've won 2 Brits. How does it feel to win Brits here in your home country?
Over the moon. It's so important to me, you know, and it's Critics' Choice, when I won that back in 2008, had a massive part to do with my sort of rise and stuff like that, and kind of cemented my kind of debut. So I'm over the moon, and I love the design. It's quite fun. I still think that when I go, you know, when I was playing at Shepherd's Bush Empire and stuff like that, it's probably that room that owns my records, so it kind of goes straight over my head. I don't really realise it, really, but it's phenomenal, you know, the success of this album and where it's gone and where it's taken me is just amazing. It seems to have done it all on its own as well, you know. I haven't done that much, and then I was halted by my voice problems, but the record just carried on walking without me. Yeah, I'd like to say I got cut off during my speech for Best Album, and I flung the middle finger. But that finger was to the suits at the Brit Awards, not to my fans. I was about to thank the British public for all of their support, and they cut me off. So I'm sorry if I offended anyone, but the suits offended me. So thank you very much for all of your support. It's amazing, so thank you very much.
In October 2012, Adele confirmed that she had been writing, composing and recording the theme song for Skyfall, the 23rd James Bond film.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The first Bond film that I watched, it was definitely a Pierce Brosnan one because, you know, I'm only 24, so I don't really go back that far with the old classics. I can't remember the one it was, actually. It was the one where he was on the speedboat going down the River Thames. That was the first one. And then, you know, the Daniel Craig ones, I think he's so edgy as Bond and has completely turned the vibe around of Bond, and for the better, I think, and real kind of elegant Bond films. So Pierce Brosnan was my first Bond, and Daniel Craig will be my Bond forever.
Skyfall, written and composed in collaboration with producer Paul Epworth, was recorded at Abbey Road Studios in London and featured orchestration by J.A.C. Redford. Adele said that recording Skyfall was one of the proudest moments of her life.
It's a huge responsibility, you know, and a lot of pressure to do a song for any film, let alone a Bond song. You know, Shirley Bassey's the Queen of Bond. So that pressure was huge. I'd had a huge, weird, strange, bizarre year with my album 21 that just shocked me to beyond fame. It was ridiculous. And I was pregnant, so I didn't... I had my child like 2 weeks before the film came out, so it was bad timing. I've got eczema from sterilising bottles so much in water.
Skyfall has sold more than 5 million copies worldwide and earned Adele the Golden Globe and also the Academy Award for Best Original Song.
No, it's absolutely amazing. It's very surreal and quite hilarious. Because it's not my field, you know, like Grammys and stuff, although it's mind-boggling to win Grammys, whether it be one or however many, I'm not meant to really, you know, amazing actors have these awards. So, yeah, it's very weird, but incredible. I feel very excited tonight. I feel
a little bit kind of overexcited. It's my first night out since I had my child. And my inspiration normally comes from heartbreak, but I don't think I'm ever going to be devastated again anymore, so all good.
On the eve of her 26th birthday, in May 2014, Adele posted a cryptic message via her Twitter. "Bye-bye 25. See you again later in the year." This was interpreted by some as meaning that her next album would follow suit and be titled 25 and be released later on in the year. Reportedly, during the album's recording process, Adele considered quitting music and going out on a positive note.
She had writer's block, and only one of the early songs that she wrote the first time around for the writing sessions for this new album was accepted to 25. Now, this is a woman that may have as many as 7 producers on a record. She has a lot of people get their fingers in the pie, but she wants it to come out as top-notch as she possibly can. Perfectly understandable.
It was hard work writing this album, you know, it was daunting following 21 up. I felt the pressure writing 25 very, very much. And for a very long time during that process, I didn't really find my voice. And I don't know if I did find it, even towards the end. But the reception to Hello actually started when I was writing it with the lyric "Hello Misery," so I'm sure you can imagine the mood that I was in when I was writing that. But, you know, it developed, and Greg Kirsten, who I wrote it with, was like, not sure about that line. I don't know about "Hello Misery," that's a bit weird, so he changed it to "Hello, it's me." But, yeah, of course, you know, I honestly didn't, I was gone for so long. I had my baby and I raised him through the toddler years, and then I sort of slowly edged my way back into work.
Her videos reflect so well what she's singing in the song. If she's singing about heartbreak, you see it in her face. Here she is struggling to get a signal. It's a great modern-day symbol for broken down romance.
It started out, like I said, the original line, the line "Hello Misery" came out, so he pulled me up on that immediately. He was like, maybe you should go meditate or something like that. So I went and tried to be, you know, like Zen. And then I came back. We wrote the first 2 verses really quickly, actually, which tends to be the case in, to date, my biggest songs. But the chorus, we have 3 different choruses for Hello, actually. There was one that was a very country vibe, which I'm hugely inspired by country music. And then I was a bit concerned about the chorus that you all know, because it obviously goes quite high. And I didn't know if I could replicate that. And I knew I was going on tour as well, because the tour was actually booked before I got pregnant, and then I got pregnant, so I was like, peace out. So I knew that I'd have to hit that note every night, and obviously it would be an opener once, you know, the verse was written and stuff, because it says hello. So yeah, we changed it a few times, and then we settled on that chorus. And the other side is, you know, it's the other side of being a grown-up. It's the other side of my relationship with all my friends and my ex-boyfriends. And it's just the other, it's from, you know, death. I wrote, you know, part of my grandpa, my grandfather. He's a huge part of my life, even though he's been gone for 18 years. So it's kind of the other side of, just the other side of not knowing.
25 eventually became the best-selling album of 2015 in the US and UK market, and has sold over 22 million copies worldwide. At the 2016 Brit Awards in London, Adele received the awards for British Female Solo Artist, British Album of the Year, British Single of the Year for Hello, and British Global Success. She closed the ceremony by performing When We Were Young.
What an incredible night. How do you feel at the end of tonight's Brit Awards?
I feel a bit worn out emotionally, but it was absolutely incredible. I was hoping to win one, but to get that many was amazing and very lovely. Nice return.
What is it like to be back here at the Brit Awards, Adele?
I've watched it since I was last here and kind of had a bit of a yearning just to be here, not to be nominated or anything like that, but just to be here. I missed the bustle of it all and stuff like that. To be back with my new album and to be nominated and to win, I mean, it's very British, so dream come true.
And are you looking forward to the upcoming UK tour, which starts on Monday?
I know. I'm nervous. It was all my idea. I'm starting to think I'm crazy to do that many shows, but I'm very excited. The show's great. We were in production rehearsals before I went to LA for the Grammys. Really exciting. Yeah, really fun to do so. It's very different to anything I've ever done because we're in such a big room and I wanted to make it intimate because I'm used to playing in theatres. So I'm excited. I just want to be healthy and be good for everyone. There'll be a few bumps along the way, but because I sing live. I do. You know I love everyone else though as well.
While on stage at her tour in London's O2 Arena, Adele announced that she would be headlining on the Pyramid stage at the 2016 Glastonbury Festival. She appeared for a 90-minute, 15-song set at the festival in front of 150,000 people and described the experience as the best moment of my life so far. Critics and fans agreed, with her performance hailed as one of the best of all time.
From my hometown, many memories are fresh. From my hometown, ooh, the people I've made are the wonders in my world, are the wonders in my world, are the wonders of this world, are the wonders of now.
In typical Adele fashion, after this performance and her tour, she took some well-deserved time off to focus on herself and her family. In early 2017, there was speculation that Adele and her boyfriend and father to her son, Simon Konecki, had secretly married when they were spotted wearing matching rings. However, in 2019, the couple separated, before Adele officially filed for divorce in September 2019. Since their breakup, there have been plenty of rumours about the pop star's romantic life, linking her to various high-profile musicians, from Drake to British rapper Skepta. During this time, Adele started making headlines with her weight loss. At Drake's birthday party in October 2019, she shared a photo on her Instagram at the shindig. Adele was reportedly working on her fourth studio album by 2018 and, in February 2020, Adele announced at her friend's wedding that her fourth studio album would be out by September 2020. However, she later confirmed that the album's production and release had been delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. At her 32nd birthday in May 2020, Adele posted a more dramatic photo to thank her fans for all the love and well wishes, as well as the first responders and essential workers amid the COVID-19 pandemic for keeping us safe. She then appeared on SNL in October 2020, and fans were quick to notice the singer's weight loss. She even joked about it in her opening monologue.
And I know I look really, really different since you last saw me, but actually, because of all the COVID restrictions and the travel bans, I had to travel light and only bring half of me, and this is the half that I chose.
After a relatively quiet year, in October 2021, projections and billboards of the number 30 appeared on monuments like the Empire State Building, fueling speculation that Adele was responsible and that 30 would be the title of her fourth album. A couple of days later, Adele announced through her social media platforms that her new single titled Easy on Me was set to be released in October.
Adele has 3 studio albums out. She's already cemented her place as a musical force in the record industry. When you sold, 40 million copies worldwide of 3 albums, I mean, that is staggering.
There's no doubt that Adele has got incredible longevity, and she is a prolific songwriter as well. She doesn't find it difficult to write about her experiences, and I think as long as she remains true to herself, I just think we're going to hear more and more from her.
She's seen by her fans and the audience and critics as a flesh and blood person who just happens to be making pop music. Her music kind of transcends. It's not really tied to any sort of era. She's not piggybacking on any sort of trend or any sort of way of writing lyrics. She's kind of this self-contained entity, and as long as she stays true to her own artistic vision, why she won't be talked about as the legacy artist she's always wanted to be, along the lines of like the Etta James, along the lines of Dusty Springfield, who have these catalogs of very distinct albums.
What makes Adele special to me is the songs she does, the lyrics, really. She has got an amazing voice, and yeah, it's all very good having an amazing voice, but if you're singing Humpty Dumpty, it's not really going to get you where, is it? Whereas Adele puts heart, she puts soul, she puts feelings into the lyrics of her song, and they're very relatable. It doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy, you've been through heartache, and you can hear what Adele's been through, and you can put it into your own life.
There's nothing she's selling. There's no commodity. It's just beauty. It's art. And the fact that Adele has already shown so much growth and maturity, it leads one to only imagine where she's going to go from here.
20 million people own your record.
It just goes over my head, really. I can't imagine how many people that is. I still think that when I go, when I was playing at Shepherd's Bush Empire and stuff like that, it's probably that room that owns my record. So it kind of goes straight over my head. I don't really realise it, really.